Let's call our meeting to order, and I'll ask the treasurer to call the roll.
President Baker.
Present?
Mr. Brown.
Here.
Vice President Cole.
Here.
Ms. Gibbs.
Here.
Ms. Hudson. Mr. Peretti.
Here.
Ms. Reyes.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer, and I'm going to ask two students who are graduating seniors, they're part of the Young Scholars Program, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ian Dela Cruz from Cause and Maya Bygrave from West. Please approach the podium. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, let's now briefly review our agenda, and then we'll adopt the agenda. So, and one thing I'd like to do, if there's no objection, is to make one change, and that is to hear from the superintendent first, and then have our public hearing on reemployment. So if there's no objection, we'll do that. So after we adopt the agenda, we'll take public comment. We do have 3 speakers signed up to speak this evening. Then we'll hear from our superintendent. Then we will have 2 brief public hearings on reemployment, after which we will hear from the treasurer and internal auditor if they have any reports to share with us. We will then consider our consent agenda, after which we will hear announcements or points of pride from board members, after which the board will recess into executive session. So having said that, the chair will now entertain a motion that we adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Treasurer?
President Baker.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Vice President Cole.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs.
Yes.
Mr. Peretti.
Yes.
Ms. Reyes.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Now let's hear from the public. We do have 3 individuals signed up to speak this evening. When I call your name, please approach the podium. You will have 4 minutes. You will see on the screen a timer, and at the end of your 4 minutes, we ask that you conclude your comments. First speaker is Hodan Mohammed. Topic: Community Outreach for the Somali Community, Board Action. Board's position on how they will reach out to community, the Somali community specifically. Please approach the podium. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm sorry, I'm not good at pronouncing names, so I will not say your names, but I'll just say good evening, our superintendent, all the board members, and all Columbus City staff members, and everyone else in the room. Good evening. My name is Hodan, here for the organization called Our Helpers, which is a nonprofit organization that works very closely with our New Americans. It's not my first time speaking with you, I guess, but just wanted to briefly update. I came here and I spoke, and it was successful. And from there, Columbus City Schools and our organization have been working together very closely to address some of the issues. We have not done excellent, but we did good. And with the help of everyone in this room, we're looking forward everything to be resolved in the community and our education to become successful. Since then, as an organization, we have been facing a challenge because the community have been watching the presentation and they were coming to our office for help. Also, with that being said, most of the parents were coming with a challenge that the students are having poor academics, so they were looking for tutoring. We did not have it, but since the parents were coming and we did that presentation, we tried to arrange a little tutoring in our office. We had some volunteers doing it, but it's not enough. So we're asking Columbus City Schools if they can kindly send any of their paid teachers to those students. If there's any requirements, like get maybe 10 students together, then we can send a teacher. We can pretty much do that, but we're asking that kindly. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is we have seen that the community are facing lack of education and lack of awareness for all the resources in Columbus. So we created a 1-hour show like Good Morning Columbus, which is for the community in language. Somali saying like Subah Wanaagsan, which is good morning for the community, that we wanted them to know all the awareness in our city and also the programs and the resources that are available for the community. That show each week is gonna cost $2,000 to our organization. We're very limited, so we wanted to see if any information or anyone can sponsor, or if you guys have any information for that. Also, if there's any information for the community, you can be part of the show. Any organization can come to the show and say the information to the community. Your logos can be displayed on the screen, and that show will be watched by the community for 1 week, so new show will come next week. So that is, I think, all I wanted to say, if I am not mistaken. Okay, the other thing I wanted to announce is some parents come where they said their third grade students are not graduating this year because of academic problem. So if there's any Somali student in our district that are not graduating this year, we will be more than happy as an organization to be part of that, to help that student get the help that they needed with the support of Columbus City Schools and our organization as culturally approached, and see if that child can pass within the summer and maybe graduate from that grade to the next level. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming to address the board this evening. We appreciate it. Are there any clarifying questions from board members? Ms. Gibbs?
Yes, thank you very much for coming. Can you tell us again what side of town your organization is on?
Okay, we are located on Morse Road, Northeast Columbus.
And was your request for tutors for us to be invited to the show and to let people know you need support, or if they need support for the third grade guarantee or for the third grade matriculation? Were those your 3 points?
Yeah, 3 different things, yeah, for tutoring if that is possible, show support, and the third grade support.
Thank you.
Any other clarifying questions from board members? Thank you very much for addressing the board this evening, Ms. Mohammed. And our next speaker is no stranger to these chambers, Mr. Dave Dobus. Please approach the podium. Mr. Dobus is a former president of Columbus Board of Education. He is here to speak tonight about the West High School cupola, board action, a board to approve the measures to restore the cupola at West High School. Mr. Dobus, good evening.
Thank you, President Baker, members of the board, Dr. Superintendent, sir, and Mr. Treasurer. It's a pleasure to be back here. This is a little bit different than it used to be. I am here tonight, as Mr. Baker just said, to speak on behalf of an item that is probably in your consent agenda. It's certainly on your agenda this evening, and that is the redesign and restoration of the West High School cupola. We are, as an alumni group, and I come here tonight representing actually besides myself, 2 organizations. I'm the president of the Hilltop Historical Society and currently the vice president of the West High School Alumni Association, which is, I am told, the largest dues-paying high school alumni group in the state of Ohio. The group, by the way, over the last 15 years has provided well in excess of $100,000 to scholarships to graduating West students. And this year, I know, has committed more than $10,000 to scholarships for students, and that will be named here soon. Again, I'm here to talk about the cupola, that we are just thrilled that is going to be redesigned, restored. What it really represents to those of us who are alumni in the community is it is just a symbol of the school. And not only of the school, but of just the tremendous education all of us who've gone through those hallowed halls over the last 88 years have been provided. So Obviously, we certainly encourage you and urge you to vote yes on this. It also is representative of promises fulfilled, fulfilled to our West Side community and fulfilled by the school district and by the Board of Education. As all of you are probably aware, last fall the cupola was found to be in tremendous disrepair and actually in danger of falling and perhaps injuring individuals, causing lots of damage. And so this is certainly fulfilling the promise that was made to us at the time to not only confer with us as we move forward, but also to restore this. And this is promises fulfilled in what we see as three senses. One, the cupola itself. Two, the board's continuing and the school district's continuing commitment to West High School to make sure that, and it has been continuing through the years, to make sure that an old school continues to be in good repair. And I think all of you realize that there are some challenges and needs, and I'm sure that those are going to be addressed very soon as well. And then the third is, of course, this district's continued commitment to the students of the west side of Columbus, and what you're going to do as a new bond issue comes before the voters and is ultimately approved to either build a new facility or restore the current facility there. And for that, again, we see the cupola as representative of that. Before I depart, I have a couple other things I just want to mention real quickly. One, the West High School itself was designed by Howard Dwight Smith, the architect who, of course, designed not only the original Upper Arlington High School, which is now Jones Middle School, but also, of course, the Ohio Stadium, where the Buckeyes play football every Saturday in the fall. And so a very prominent architect who was the Columbus City Schools architect, and then later became the architect for the Ohio State University. Also, I just want to say that this school district continues to produce outstanding students from the west side and from the entire school district. One of our students, Mose Lattimore, graduating senior, will be taking a full academic scholarship to The Ohio State University this year. We are thrilled about that. And one of our students at COS, Madeline Schroeder, has been admitted to and will attend my alma mater, MIT. So we are just thrilled that the school district continues to do a quality job with its young people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any clarifying questions from board members? Thank you, Mr. Dobas. Good to see you. And our third speaker is Noel Williams. Topic, thank you to Dr. Good. Board action, thank Dr. Good for attending a community event and committing to work with us.
Good evening, President Baker, Vice President Coe, Treasurer, Auditor Smith, members of the board, and Superintendent Good. My name is Noel Williams, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer for the BREAD organization. On behalf of BREAD, which stands for Building Responsibility, Equality, and Dignity, BREAD's 40 faith communities, we want to take a moment to thank Dr. Good for attending our Nehemiah Action on May 1st. We were excited to have over 2,500 community members and BREAD leaders present to hear how we will work with you to improve the lives of our children and keep our children out of the court system. BREAD leaders are eager to meet with you on June 20th to plan our trip to Pittsburgh, where we will visit the Pittsburgh Public Schools to see restorative justice practices. At the Nehemiah Action, you also committed to work with us to create a system to enable the police, the resource officers assigned to the schools to make referrals to the juvenile court's restorative justice program, and also give an update at BREAD's annual assembly on November the 13th. As we continue to meet quarterly over the next year, we are looking forward to setting up a plan that will include specific benchmarks in order to reduce suspensions and improve the overall school climate. Again, we look forward to working with you and the district to accomplish our shared goals and give our children the opportunity to succeed. And thank you for your time. Thank you for allowing us to be here this afternoon.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. We appreciate you taking the time to address the board this evening. Are there any clarifying questions from board members for Ms. Williams? Thank you very much. And anyone who is here from Bread, thank you for being here as well. That is our last speaker. And so we will move on now to our superintendent's report. I appreciate your willingness to be flexible. We do have a number of students here with us this evening that are part of the report, and I wanted to allow them to leave without having to sit through too much more of the meeting. Mr. Superintendent, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President Baker, Vice President Cole, members of the board. In my more than 3 decades in education, I've experienced that the final weeks of every school year, from the smallest of districts to the largest, are hectic, with a flurry of final activity as the calendar grows shorter. So now, with a mere 11 days left, the 2016-17 school year is quickly drawing to a close. Tonight, we continue our celebration of the successes of our students that they've seen over the past 9 months with our teachers and staff, our individual schools, and our overall district being recognized for providing the children of this city greater opportunities for learning and growth. And we begin to look ahead to the ways we will continue and grow our success in the upcoming 2017-18 year. I want to first thank the members of the board who were able to attend or contribute your video talents to our 3rd annual College Signing Day. Headlining this year's event, which brought together nearly 1,000 of our graduating seniors who are heading off to college or into the military, was what I would call a major announcement that the class of 2017 has so far earned more than $60.1 million in scholarships and grants. It's proof that success continues to grow in Ohio's largest school district. You'll recall that last year's graduates earned roughly $57 million in scholarships and grants, which was already a boost of nearly $15 million from the year before that. And this year's total is expected to grow as additional scholarships come in. That will include more than $52,000 in scholarships that were awarded last week at the annual High School Service Above Self Fair, sponsored by the Columbus Rotary Club. This has been a 13-year partnership with Rotary that featured the displays of 60 student-led community service projects representing all 21 high schools and 3 middle schools. Eastmore Academy senior Terrell Johnson received the $25,000 Make a Difference Scholarship, and we congratulate him and all of our scholarship winners. Coming up is the big I Know I Can Founders Celebration, with even more students to be recognized. And this board will be celebrating many of our student achievers next week at this time with our spring honors and recognition. The celebration begins on Tuesday at 6 p.m. at East High School. Another recognition we'll honor is our repeat performance of one of Ohio's best school breakfast programs. Our food services team and its director, Joe Brown. Joe, are you here? Stand up. Oh, you're standing. So they were presented with the 2017 Breakfast Champion Award earlier today, one of only 8 districts across the entire state to receive the recognition. Congratulations. Well, it seems like just yesterday we were talking about a deficit in food services, and now it's all in the black and we're getting awards regularly. Good job, Joe. So, over these next several days, I expect you'll hear about other end-of-year awards and recognitions being earned by our students and staff. We celebrate them all because each one fuels the spirit of success I've spoken about since the first day of the year. As we help our students finish strong this school year, we look forward to multiplying our spirit of success in the 2017-2018 school year. This past weekend, some of our city's youngest students began their 13-year-long educational journey as more than 500 families took part in our Countdown to Kindergarten event at Fort Hays. Let me thank our early learning teams and so many others across the district who made the day special, designed to ease pre-K kids and their parents into transitioning into kindergarten. We give our 4- and 5-year-olds a chance to board a school bus for the first time, go through a lunch line and pick up a snack, and receive a fun activity ring with 100 things to do before school begins, because it's 100 days until school begins again. In fact, we will have thousands of young people at all ages taking full advantage of the summer to stay focused on reading, get ahead in class, and catch up on much-needed credits. So far, we've over 1,000 middle and elementary school students who have signed up for summer school, and the registration is still going strong. And as you know, high school registration doesn't even begin until June 5th. Also, our partners at the Columbus Metropolitan Library are set to launch their popular Summer Reading Club. Parents can sign up from home at columbuslibrary.org or at any library location. Children can track their reading and library activity goals online, all while earning badges and prizes, not to mention keeping their grade level reading skills sharp. And one more item, in our preparations for next school year, tonight I'm asking the board to approve nearly 24 building level administrative appointments, promotions, and assignments for our principals and assistant principals starting the fall. As is custom, I will wait until after the board's vote to introduce them, but let me say how excited and proud I am of the work they are doing now, especially our leadership interns who are advancing into assistant principal roles next year. The fall is surely set up for success. As I wrap up my comments, I want to both celebrate success and look ahead once again by asking our Chief Academic Officer, Alicia Gillison, to introduce our presentation tonight on the 2017 recipients of Ohio State's Young Scholars Program. I believe you will be amazed at our young people who've earned this honor. They are academically talented, first-generation college students and their families, and are dedicated to reaching higher and pursuing a college degree at The Ohio State University in the fall. Ms. Gillison, would you please share with us their success?
Yes, thank you. President Baker, Vice President Cole, members of the board. The partnership with the Ohio State Young Scholars Program in Columbus City Schools spans 27 years. The Ohio State Young Scholars Program provides an exceptional opportunity for our scholars. As a matter of fact, they maintain a 3.3 GPA and move in a cohort from 8th grade through graduation. Tonight, it is my honor to invite Trina Phillips, the program director for the Young Scholars Program, to the podium so that she can introduce our young scholars to you individually and we can recognize them for their achievements. At this time,
Hi, I'm actually going to let my director, Dr. Rochelle Woods, start off. I figured she was out there hiding.
Hi, my name is Rochelle Woods. Thank you so much for having us, Superintendent Good, on the agenda again. So we are here, of course, to celebrate our young scholars that are graduating from Columbus City Schools. How many of them are there? 20-something? 23. So these 23, of course, you know our Young Scholars Program, you wrote it in the agenda, but just to give a brief overview, our program is a program of The Ohio State University for academically talented students who also are first generation and have a high economic need. So these are some of our most exceptional students from around the state. We are in 9 cities in Ohio, and of course, Columbus is one of our great partners. So this group of students that you'll meet have actually been awarded $350,000 worth of scholarships for their first year, and over a period of 4 years, they'll be awarded about $1.4 million. So again, thank you so much for having us, and I'll have Ms. Trina come introduce them.
So first, I have Nora Al-Hashima. She is a senior at CAS. She is the class president and valedictorian. She is a member of Parachute, which is a youth human rights organization. She is a member of National Honor Society, and she is the co-founder of She Can Make a Difference, a group to empower young girls. Ram Adakari is a senior at Columbus Downtown High School, and he plans to major in computer engineering or IT. And you're not seeing double. But senior Laxman Adakari is a senior at Columbus Downtown, and he plans to major in computer engineering and IT as well. Maya Bygrave, she is a senior at West High School. She has been awarded the National Scholar Athlete, and she made Dean's List at Ohio Dominican University. And she's been on Super Honor Roll. Throughout her years, she has run track, softball, volleyball, and basketball. She has also bowled and cheered and been captain of the drill team. She is the leader of her poetry slam team and will be graduating as the school valedictorian and class president. Michelle Cardenas is a senior at Columbus Alternative High School. She is member of National Honor Society, her stage crew, and volunteers in the community at least once a month. Jordan Claffey is a senior at West High School who plays softball and volleyball, and she is the salutatorian for her school. Ian Dela Cruz, who helped with the Pledge of Allegiance today, is one of the valedictorians of his senior class. He has 3 years of internship experience, including internships at Ohio State School for the Blind and the Department of Materials Science and Engineering at Ohio State University. He is a member of National Honor Society, president of Cause Film Club, also the Anime Club, and the Cause Against Sexual Violence. Anish Gamir is a senior at Columbus Downtown, and he plans to attend Ohio State and major in computer engineering or IT. Reginald Ginyard III is a third-year swimmer at Eastmoor Academy, and that led him to become a lifeguard. He is also the president of the National Honor Society at Eastmoor. Jordell Matthews is a senior at Eastmoor High School who participates in dance, cross country, track and field. He was a participant in the theater production of The Wiz, marching band, and drum major. Prova Hassan is a senior at Centennial. She is a member of National Honor Society and has been a varsity runner for cross country. She's also received the Coaches Award. This year, she was a leader of the Green Team, which is a new club started at her school. She also participated in the Multicultural Festival and received bronze and silver medals for her academics. Jocelyn McLaughlin is a senior at Cause, and she is an active member and the president of the Cause Chorale. This past March, she received the Ovation Award out of 500 plus students from across the U.S. at the World Strides Heritage Festival. Jordan Phillips is a senior at Centennial, and he said, "I would like for you to mention that I received the Math Student of the Year." Molly Ratzenvon is a senior at Cause, and she was a part of her stage crew. Very important part of the theater department her junior year. She worked very hard to become the stage assistant this year. She is the secretary of her school's National Honor Society and was able to give back to the community as well as be a part of Columbus Literacy Council, Columbus Gifted Academy, and Junior Achievement BizTown. Miriam Sarr is a senior at Cause, and she is the National Honor Society treasurer at her school and a valedictorian. Lucas Silva, who was unable to attend, he became ill and texted me his apologies, but he was able to attend MIT for an engineering summer cohort program, and he was a part of the STEM club, math team, and soccer. Jerry Ta is a senior at Northland High School, 4-year soccer, first team All-City MVP, and captain since sophomore year. He is a member of the STEM club that he started in middle school, treasurer of his junior class, VP of marketing senior class, and member of Easton Community Youth Outreach. Alexis Vance Townsend is a senior at Centennial. She has participated in cross country for 4 years. She's won championships for cross country twice as a captain. She plays saxophone in the concert and marching band. She was editor and head designer of the yearbook and reporter for National Honor Society. And she is very proud that though she has chosen Ohio State, she was also accepted to Cornell and the University of Pennsylvania. Ember Zaire is a senior at CAS, and she is a part of National Honor Society and also participated in the Afro Youth Group. Did I forget anyone? I got everyone, right? So that is our, who did I forget? Kayla. I'm sorry, Kayla. Kayla Fathom Vaughn. She is a senior at Reynoldsburg, but she was accepted into the program in 6th grade, and she did not send me her items. So we're just going to applaud her because I know she has done great things. That is our Young Scholar senior class of 2017 that will be attending The Ohio State University this fall.
Are we going to do a picture? We'll do a photo. Where are our Young Scholars' parents? Can you just stand so we can acknowledge you?
You want to act like you're trying today, is that what this is? I love your dress. Your dress is absolutely brilliant. Okay, Eric, we need to come.
Everybody just take a little step this way. Take a little step this way. Okay. You need to head up the, kind of curve around this way a little bit. So you can head up there. I don't know what you want. Yeah. Okay. All look this way. We get back up a little. There are a few here. Just keep looking. One more. Perfect. Thank you all.
They're actually triplets, not just twins. Those three, yeah. I said, "You're the twins?" They're like, no, we're triplets. And the one's fraternal, and the other two are identical. Isn't that funny?
That is, and so one goes to downtown,
Yeah.
and then the other two go someplace else, right? You know what? Downtown High School rocks it, don't
Oh my God, Cheryl is tearing it up.
they? You know how career centers used to be. I used to teach.
Consummate professional. All right, we'll wait just a few moments while our students take their exit. Miss Gillison, if you could help to shepherd the process, that would be outstanding. Amazingly talented students we have here in this district. Mr. Superintendent, does that conclude your report?
It does, thank you.
So again, congratulations to our young scholars, and never ceases to amaze me the talent we have in this district. So thank you, Mr. Superintendent, for your report. Thank you for the good news. Let's move on now to the public hearings that we moved early. I'm going to call on the Vice President to present the information on the public hearing on the reemployment of Ms. Myra Wright. Mr. Vice President.
Mr. President, motion for a public hearing before the Columbus School Board of Education pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 3307.353 in connection with proposed employment of Myra Wright as Director, Human Services Administration effective June 10, 2017.
That's okay. All right.
So just a reading, excuse me.
And we're now going to conduct that hearing. And so here are the guidelines. We'll invite any member of the public to address the board about Ms. Wright's prospective employment. Following our public comment policy, we'll allow each speaker up to 4 minutes to present his or her views. Once we have heard any speakers, the hearing will conclude and the board will consider the employment of Ms. Wright at the appropriate time. Is there anyone here in the chamber this evening who wishes to address the board concerning the rehiring of Ms. Myra Wright? If so, please come forward to the podium. And seeing none, that concludes the hearing on Ms. Myra Wright's employment. Thank you very much. All right. Now, if I could ask the Vice President to offer another reading.
Yes, Mr. President, I offer the reading pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 3309.345. The Columbus Board of Education gives notice to Stephanie Bland, middle school principal who retired from the Columbus City Schools effective June 30th, 2017, is seeking employment with the Columbus City Schools as a middle school principal effective August 16, 2017. The board will hold a public meeting on August 1st, 2017 at 5:30 p.m. in the Assembly Room of the Columbus Education Center, 2017 East State Street, Columbus, Ohio, on the issue of Ms. Bland's reemployment.
Thank you. So just a notice that we will have a hearing, and 270 East State Street is where that hearing will be located on August 1st. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. All right, now, let's move on to hear from our treasurer. You have a report for us.
Thank you, President Baker, Vice President Cole, members of the board. This evening, I'm here to do an overview of the financial report for the month ending April 30th. This report was reviewed by the Finance and Appropriations Committee last Thursday. Continuing the trend that we've seen in the past several months and quite frankly throughout the fiscal year, revenues continue to trend above plan and expenditures slightly below plan. This favorable impact is on our ending cash balance has been factored into the 5-year forecast that you heard a hearing on and presentation last board meeting a couple of weeks ago and is on your consent agenda for adoption this evening. The revenues through the month of April on a year-to-date basis are up about 3.9% or almost $30 million. Expenditures are running extremely close to plan at just 0.6% under, at about $4 million under plan on a plan of $697 million. When we break down the revenue items into their major categories, property taxes, there were no significant changes from March report. The state aid has jumped up a bit over plan, while the actual state aid came in at about $183,000 over plan. The property tax reimbursement came in at $3.2 million above plan. Assuming that next month's reimbursement for personal property taxes from the state comes in on target, we're expecting about $8.7 million. We anticipate that this favorable variance of $3.65 million, just 1.2%, should carry through to the end of the year. The other operating revenue ran about $1 million over plan for the month, bringing that total, while it's a large percentage, it's $3.56 million in total. No changes in the overall operating revenues, and so total revenues, again, are running about 4% above plan, primarily due to the new tax levy receipts listed under property taxes. Here, just showing the trend. Monthly, it seems to be following last year's pattern, except for during the collection period, January through March. You can see those variances there. When moving on to expenditures on the personnel side, this, for another month, increased about $3 million over plan to $12.67 million over on a year-to-date basis. Our projection of about plus $16 million over plan due to that 27th pay issue, it still stands as my expectation for the end of the year. The non-personnel fell further behind plan by about $2.6 million to $11.6 million under plan. With the Finance Committee, I shared some of the major line items that contributed to this variance. Professional technical services, natural gas, general supplies. The FAC had inquired about whether or not this was a trend, i.e. that we tend to underspend our plan in these areas, and we're going to be looking into that a little bit further to see how that might affect our cash flow planning in the future, and what how we work that out on our month-to-month plan when we do these presentations. So we'll delve into that a little bit more, but we did identify the major contributors to that under plan variance. Another closely watched line, community schools. We have dug further into that. Heretofore, I had thought that we would enter the end of the year between $1 million and $2 million under plan, but I found, quite frankly, unbeknownst to me, where some things get charged. There were some other tuition-related items that are being charged to those objects, most notably College Credit Plus that are charged there as well. When we've looked at the plan for the balance of the year and what we anticipate to be charged off, we should be right on plan there. So I don't anticipate any issues with the appropriation, but we will be on plan in that area. So that small variance right there should hold true. From March to April, there were no changes in the non-operating area. Again, looking at the expenditures, in the aggregate here, personnel, non-personnel, community schools, and non-operating, you can see very much close to plan. And again, on a monthly basis, we're mirroring last year fairly well. So in summary, once again, revenues through the month of April are running above plan, expenditures under plan, and we have, again, factored that expectation into our forecast planning. Just to remind you, we will be adopting the 5-year forecast. It is exactly what you saw 2 weeks ago in the presentation. At the FAC, we did talk a little bit about some of the major unknowns that are out there, primarily the state budget. And since the time we reviewed the forecast and presented to the board, we don't have anything solid, but they're still talking about the state budget. So there are a variety of proposals out there, all the way from, I think see if I get this right, Mr. Peretti, the executive budget was plus 5% on the cap. The House version, the other way around? 5 to 5.5% of a couple versions. We heard some chatter that the Senate might be contemplating a flat funding or 0% increase, but at this point, all of it's very, very preliminary, and again, that budget is due to be adopted hopefully by June. We have modeling in place to take a look at those scenarios, similar to what we did in assessing the 5-year forecast back when the FAC met, but I continue to enhance that. We monitor what's going on, and again, we get daily reports, I think, from Eric Roush, so our legislative liaison. So we're on top of it, but it's still very much an unknown. That concludes my report on the April financial report and any update we have on the forecast, and would welcome any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Chairman Peretti, you have anything to add?
Just a brief comment on our finance committee, and it's just so, fulfilling to see how we've been able to track things and not only educate ourselves of the nuances of school funding, but also the public. It's very important, it's very quirky, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to do things like 5-year forecasts before we know what the state budget's doing. And putting that into a legal document and putting it out into the community is a very tough thing to do. But through our finance committee and through this process, it's been very great to see how we've been able to make sure that we keep on top of the information. Our liaison, Dr. Roush, has been doing a fantastic job representing us at the State House. And I continue to look forward for us to tell our story and make sure that we are positioned in the right place so that the state knows the great things that we're doing in the largest district in the state and how much this affects us. Remember, they don't fund things like ESL and special education to the amount that we need, and we build those things into our levy. And when you go into a 2-year biennium process, every 2 years and the funding formula changes, it can be very tricky, not only for us, but for every school district in the state. So I just want to thank our team, yourself, Scott, and Dr. Roush, and everyone else that helps us keep on top of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Peretti. Board Member Gibbs?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bahorik. Just a quick question, and I just want to hear you restate your comments. On slide number 8 and expenditures on the community school line item, you made a reference that College Credit Plus is in one of these line items. Is that the line item that you were referring to? And did you say you were surprised or that you didn't know that it was there?
I was not surprised, but I did not know that amount was in there. So when I looked at what I estimate for the full year and was looking at the state numbers that were coming to me for community schools, vouchers and scholarships, I didn't include College Credit Plus in that estimate. So what appeared to me to be running under estimate really was right on target.
Okay. And do we have any projections on what that will look like for the next year, or do we have a benchmark of where we want to be with College Credit Plus? Hopefully higher. If I was a parent, I would want as many college credits for free before I had to pay for them. But do we have any projections on how many students we have and how many we think are going to take advantage of that program next year, and does that impact the forecast?
I do not have a specific line item estimate for that. Does it impact it? Yes. Is it nearly as significant given that line item is, $180 million? In that realm, it's not significant. But again, I don't have a line item estimate for that. Now that we know that that's there and we drill down even further, it is likely that we will include an estimate for that. But I think what we've done in the area of the community schools, vouchers, and scholarships, more than because we do a conservative estimate of that, we tend to estimate high on students leaving the district and high on the dollar amount per student. It covers those kinds of variances.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the Treasurer? Thank you, Mr. Treasurer, very much for your report. And let's move on to the Internal Auditor. Have your report for the board this evening, Madam Internal Auditor.
Thank you, President Baker. I do not have a report this evening.
Thank you. All right, let's move on then, and the chair will now entertain a motion that we adopt our consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any questions on any items of legislation contained within the consent agenda this evening? Yes, Board Member Reyes.
I wanted to see if Dr. Good or someone in his staff would like to talk a little bit about 11.4, the Adult High School Diploma Program.
Thank you, Baker, to Board Member Reyes. We're going to ask Peggy Cleary to come forward, and because we don't see this very often, it's a good idea to refresh the community of the importance of this alternative pathway to
I get this
diploma.
question a lot, so I thought
Yeah.
great opportunity to highlight.
Good evening, President Baker. and members of the board. The Adult 22 program is actually that we work in collaboration with Columbus State Community College, and it is where students actually go back. We take their, well, actually, Dr. Klein looks at their credits that they earned in their high school, and then they can finish whatever is needed at the time of the credits that were in place of their graduation year. And they complete those courses online through Columbus State, and then they get granted a diploma from their school of that their address falls under at where they're living. So that's why you see the Adult 22 diploma. So I sign, Dr. Good signs, and then it goes back to Columbus State, and then we bring all of the awardees of the diplomas to our award recognition ceremony. So that's kind of what it is. In the fall, we are trying to look for us to even offer that at the Adult and Community Education Department here in Columbus City Schools, as well as the Adult Diploma.
And just to follow up, Ms. Begin, so I understand some members of the community stated that this might be offered in different languages. The GED, is that an option, not only in English, but?
So we're talking two separate things. So currently, at Adult and Community Education, we hold the ABLE grant, where we offer classes for students of second languages, and then what we do is we have the classes, and then once they get to proceed, then we take them through the GED classes, and we have the support of the ESOL teachers on site at the Adult and Community Education site. Those classes are offered throughout Columbus City Schools in night during the day at 2323 Lexington Avenue is our main center, but we do hold them at sites, Yorktown Elementary or Middle School, and different places throughout the school district.
And what's the cost?
Free.
What's the cost?
Free.
One more time, what's the cost?
And there are even more exciting things that will come in the fall, and I'll come back to the board and announce that as they come, where adults might be able to earn an industry credential and score a certain score on a work-using exam to help them get their high school diploma. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you for the questions.
Board Member Gibbs?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, but I will say, as a very proud daughter of a mom who got her GED, just an amazing program, and I'm very glad for the two individuals that's going to get that. I'd just like to call out 12.9, and it's the authority to purchase services with modular space to dismantle and destroy, finally, the modulars at Woodward Park. I mean, we won't destroy it, but na, goodbye. I am so happy. It has been years in the making to see a time where we will ease the overcrowding, which is the byproduct of communities choosing our schools. So unlike what people may say, the Woodward Park and the Northland community loves Woodward Park Middle School, so much so they wanted to stay, and they endured years in that outdoor modular that I just thought was going to get blown away with Toto. But they were very safe and they were very wonderful. But I'm so glad that they are going away, and that we are going to start a new chapter in Woodward Park history with the 6th grade building over at Walden, and that those students will most importantly be able to stay in their community and in their neighborhood. And I'm looking at Mr. Remy, who's like, yes, yeah, because it's been a long time coming. So I'm very excited that we are now able to ease some of that congestion on that site, and that those families can still stay in the Woodward Park family.
Agreed. Mr. Preddy.
Just more of a general comment on a lot of the Operation Fix-It items we have. It's just so good to see that we're keeping on top of that, being accountable to the public and keeping our promises, as well as Ms. Gibbs said, this is also another part of some of the short-term blueprint that we have for our facility master plan. And again, President Baker, I look forward to us reconvening that facilities committee so we can start working on that very big conversation that we're going to have as we examine our facilities in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Preddy. Mr. Brown, did you have a comment?
No, thank you.
Any other board members? Yes, Ms. Hudson.
Thank you, President Baker.
My pleasure.
I have a couple questions. I have one about 13.2 and 13.3, the West High School. I see we've got, I just want to make sure, I know there are some pretty significant issues with the interior of the building. Just would like to make sure that the interior issues are being prioritized so that we're ready for next school year.
President Baker to Board Member Hudson. So we just had a meeting with the staff yesterday to kind of talk about exactly that same kind of concern. So it'll definitely be kind of looking at the issues that are at the building from all aspects. So many of them are custodial and just kind of operational issues we talked about, ways to just kind of improve the climate within the building just based on some tweaks to the way we're currently kind of running the building and managing day to day. And then of course looking at those bigger systems that we are going to tackle through Operation Fix-It, so things as comprehensive as HVAC renovations. But I did talk to the staff yesterday about one of the things that we have learned from the first pilot project, so that getting a fire alarm system in place first to be able to have that kind of early monitoring and detection is going to be key to being able to make that bigger investment for the HVAC project. So very much looking to make that first investment in a fire alarm. So you will very likely see a contract coming through with a recommendation in June. And West will be one of those buildings we're looking to tackle with a fire alarm upgrade, so that right behind it we can start working towards what that bigger HVAC renovation work will look like. And then again tonight you see before you a criteria architect contract recommendation as well as a design builder to go ahead and replace that cupola with a very sensitive but completely rebuilt cupola to place back on top of the building. So looking inside and out.
But will any of this affect the interior repairs at this 13.2 or 13.3?
So what you see before you tonight is strictly for the cupola itself. The contract that you will see in June will be, again, for that fire alarm project that is part of the Operation Fix-It bond issue.
Yeah. And so when do you think, post-fire alarm, when do you think the rest of the interior repair contracts will be in front of us?
So I would expect that the fire alarm contract itself would bid sometime late this year. Or so it would bid sometime later this year. The work would actually get started late this year. And in the interim, we will be looking at the HVAC system to make sure we have a good idea of what the work is that we can tackle there, just exactly what we can afford to do, looking at the systems that are there today, whether there's anything we can salvage either based on the components that are there or even the way it's routed in the building. So even just yesterday, I was poking around in the attic trying to really understand how that space is built and where the spaces are where we can sneak ductwork or additional heating, cooling lines, the things that we know we'll need to get into that building to be able to make sure we're able to successfully roll out a new project there.
Oh, we just seem to have the cart before the horse, but I think. But will the cupola restoration address the roof leaking issues that I understand are going on there?
No, so we talked about that yesterday with the staff as well. So I understand there have been roof leaks in the building. The roof on the building itself is fairly new. What we did learn is that the portion of the building that experienced the leak earlier this year is a portion of the building that's kind of contained. And so unfortunately the roof drains in that section of the building had been clogged. And so when that rain event occurred, the water rose to the level where it kind of made it above the roof, the official roof line. So nobody wants that explanation. It wasn't exactly a roof leak. It was an event that we had anticipated. They have resolved that. We are looking at some improvements, making sure that we do have that envelope of the building buttoned up tight. But the roof itself, you'll notice if you look in the Operation Fix-It, we did not put funds in for any significant roof work there because the roof on that building has been replaced in 2 different phases, the oldest of which was 1999 and the newest of which is 2005. So the roof itself still has life on it.
Thank you. That's an important clarification. President Baker, I just have one other question or comment, if I might. And thank you, Alex. I just wanted to commend in 12.13. That's a great example of another unbundled food service purchase that goes to an LED vendor. So I just wanted to highlight that and thank the team for sensitivity to that issue.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vice President?
Thank you. I just had one quick question again about a building. Somebody who not too long ago ran a facility myself with regard to the leak. Can we have you back?
Alex.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. So just so I'm clear, and thank you so much for letting us know that this was kind of a downspout draining issue as opposed to an actual leak. When you talked about systems improvement and talking with the staff around that, that obviously encompassed how you are going to move forward, making sure we're checking those things, we're on top of that type of stuff as a part of your facilities plan?
Yes, sir. President Baker to Board Member Cole. So, we talked about a lot of issues yesterday with the staff. And it's important to talk about, so the biggest investment in general we'll make in Operation Fix-It is HVAC work. And depending on the building, then the roof work. But in some respects, that's work that people just expect. To the extent we're able to roll out additional air conditioning, obviously that's kind of a value add. But people expect buildings not to leak. But there are some components within that program that we think are going to have some real impact. Because of the volume of the work, we're really focused on getting that HVAC work off the ground first, because we fully expect we'll need to do 5 full years of HVAC work to be able to get this work tackled across the district. It's that much volume of work we need to get done. But as soon as we get the first group of those buildings off the ground, and we're working on that right now, we'll start looking at those projects that we know are going to have more impact day to day. So things like security vestibules or security upgrades. We've committed to making security upgrades, and where we can, we'd like to put in a vestibule. And so if you go to Hamilton Elementary, you'll see that we have the first of those projects underway. So we now understand how to do that and do it in a pretty cost-effective way. There are some buildings like West where that's going to be very difficult to implement, but we did talk about that yesterday. So we'll need to work with the staff and talk about if there's a way we can kind of recreate the way the office is set up there, because right now it's on the 2nd floor. So even if we create that secure vestibule right at the front entrance, today there's nobody there to greet a person, a visitor, a parent, anybody who would come into the building. So there are some bigger conversations we're going to have at every single building. West is not unique in this way, to figure out how is the best way to get the return on that investment that we've promised and committed to. And one of the other ones is restroom upgrades. So we've committed to making plumbing upgrades, which to the best we can, we want to really focus that on kind of the student experience in the restrooms and really kind of upgrading the appearance, the presentation of what's going on in those facilities. And so we're going to start working on that as well. So looking at everything from making sure those fixtures, the water closets, the urinals, the hand sinks, the faucets, the flush valves, everything's working exactly the way you'd expect it to. But then to make those targeted improvements to the floors, to the walls, the ceilings, to really make them nice spaces that we'd all be happy to use.
I thank you so much for that, Mr. Trevino. I also thank you, Dr. Good. I certainly look forward with my colleagues to future discussion around this, any upcoming developments that will be discussed in the facilities piece. So I look forward to that. My last thing is this, too. Thank you so much for 12.11. Again, our commitment to LED businesses here in the community. I'm really excited about this, so I'm glad to see that we're doing this. Thank you.
Any other questions, Ms. Gibbs?
Yeah, just a roundabout question, and I too, along with my co-chair, Mr. Brady, do look forward to resuming the facility master plan. But you said something very significant. For the next 5 years, we're going to concentrate on HVAC projects, and it's a lot of projects and a lot of volumes. What then are we doing on the Career Center side to increase or expand the number of students we're training in HVAC? I see you, Ms. Pagine. Are we, as we're looking at the demand we ourselves are about to create, are we doing something proportionally to make sure we're training and producing students who can then help us address the demand?
President Baker to Board Member Gibbs, I'm going to let Peggy answer that question. But it is an interesting question, because the systems that we're looking at are some very traditional systems that people will be very familiar with, but there are also some newer systems that are quite different applications that I do think have a lot of opportunity.
So next year, in the world of construction, we have increased our enrollment. We will have an additional teacher at the Fort Hays Career Center. And then through some interesting works at Walnut Ridge, we will be hiring another construction arts teacher at that facility to help students earn industry credentials, as well as learning the trade. We're also working with the city. They have committed to expanding career and technical education with the help of Career and Technical, but also the mayor. He is, I do believe it was a $500,000 commitment, and then he's asking for a matching funds from the private sector to help in creating a more diverse and robust construction trades program within Columbus City Schools. So immediately there will be an easy 50 extra seats of students in that particular field. And I had a meeting today with Dwayne Hood, and we are looking at taking some of our students and working internally one-on-one mentorships with our own HVAC technicians that we have in the school system and working with our students as well. So he's thinking outside of the box too, trying to look at his internal needs that will be coming up through Columbus City Schools as the employer. So we're looking at all different kinds of things. We're also working with local apprenticeship shops that are taking some of the students and training them in post-secondary opportunities after they leave the career centers.
Yes. Thank you so much, because you just made that point, and I thought it was incredible. So I hope we're making that linkage with construction as well as with our business programs, teaching our kids how to bid on these projects, how to write the proposals, how to do the accounting. So we have a real-world classroom in our own building program that I hope, as we're training our students, they could walk out and literally know how to bid to work in a district that trained them. So everything from how to pricing, how to do the work, how to inspect it, the compliance, the safety, the OSHA, all of it. I look forward to see how you complete the circle with that entire training.
So I think we'd be remiss in saying too that we've put programs in at the middle school as well to introduce students to all different kinds of opportunities, whether it's trades, automotive, any of the career fields that have in-demand jobs waiting for the students upon graduation. And then we've also started a pilot program, it's second year, that we're working with big partners in the community where students go to school 1 week and then they work in the field the next week. So we've recreated even what the school day looks like at the senior level for students that are interested in the construction industry. So we have some partners, Cornucocasine, Eigel, I mean, the list goes on, that they take and employ, and the students are paid at $12 an hour in that pilot. So they do all of their academics 1 week, and then the next week they're on the job learning with real live companies that are doing real work, and then they have one-on-one conversations with the CEOs and upper management to encourage that student to stay in the field and introduces them to all different kinds of opportunities in that particular field.
And how are we reaching out to girls?
It's funny that you would say that, but we have seen, especially in this cohort of class that we have recruited, that we have an increase in the girls. I don't know the exact, but what we have done in that, we are having the girls that are in that actual program actually help in the recruiting. And if you notice, we started the Career Advisor. I think you all get that electronically, but we showcase students that are not typically in that field. So whether it may be a male in the nursing field or a female in the automotive, that we are trying to look for diversity in our publications that are sent out to the students. And we also do a lot of career advising to introduce not only to the students, but to their parents, and having some of the industry partners come to the plate and say, this is a viable career. It's more than a pathway to middle class. It's really a pathway to prosperity.
Okay. Thank you so much, as always.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Baker.
Thank you. Any other questions from board members on the consent agenda? Hearing none, Mr. Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Vice President Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson?
Yes, but I abstained from 12.3, 12.5, 12.10.
Mr. Peretti?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Baker?
Yes.
That motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. I'll now call on our superintendent to talk about those employees.
President Baker, Vice President Cole, members of the board, first of all, thank you very much for approving the recommendation for the administrative appointments and the administrative promotions this evening. It's a pleasure for me now to introduce to you, first, our program administrator who leads our Leadership Intern program and the Brights program for Columbus City Schools. And Karen McClellan, if you're in the room, would you stand up, please, and be recognized? And then I'm just going to ask each of our, first of all, those that are receiving appointments, so they're moving from a leadership intern position into a paid administrative position. I'll have them all stand first, and then we'll recognize them after you've seen each of them. So first, in alphabetical order, from leadership intern to high school assistant principal at Linda McKinley STEM, Christian Angel. From leadership intern to middle school assistant principal at CCPSG, Rhoda Arrington. From leadership intern to middle school assistant principal at Johnson Park Middle School, Sheila Evans. From leadership intern to elementary school principal at West Broad, Christina Eiffel. From leadership intern to middle school assistant principal at Woodward Park Middle School, Kevin Jackson. From leadership intern to high school assistant principal, Linda McKinley STEM, Sarah Jaffe. From leadership intern to elementary school principal at Parsons Elementary, Shannon Candler Clemens. From leadership intern to high school assistant principal at Linda McKinley STEM, Henry Lee. From leadership intern at Livingston to elementary assistant principal at Hamilton K-12, Mary Jane Pettigrew. From leadership intern to elementary school principal at Wineland Park, Portia Robinson Irvin. From middle school assistant principal at CCPSG to middle school principal at Yorktown, Shannon Tucker. Those are our administrative appointments. So. And so now I'd like to talk about the administrative promotions. From middle school assistant principal at Buckeye to middle school principal at Buckeye, Stephanie McCoy. From interim principal at Berwick K-8 to principal at Berwick K-8, Kyla Mitchell. From elementary school at principal at Westmount to middle school principal at Starling K-8, Angela Moore Tyler. From middle school assistant principal at Hiltonia to high school assistant principal at Mifflin, Sandra Santos. And from middle school principal at Buckeye Middle School to director of Columbus Global Academy, Derek Vickroy. And these are our promotions. And as I shared with this group just 30 minutes before our meeting, I believe our cohort of leaders in buildings continues to get stronger and stronger. I have every confidence that they will deliver on the expectations and probably exceed even their own. And I'm absolutely thrilled with this particular class of those that are being promoted and assigned. So thank you for bringing your gifts, your skills, your commitment to Columbus City School, and thank you, board, for approving them.
Thank you. Congratulations, one and all. All right, if there is nothing else from Superintendent, then we will move on to announcements. So any board members have any very brief announcements or points of pride you might like to share this evening? Mr. Brown?
Yeah, just a couple of items. Excuse me. First is a very significant event tomorrow. The governor had to postpone the initial scheduling of the Holocaust Memorial Commemoration, but that will be held tomorrow at 10:30 on the State House grounds, and it's on the south side of the State House, and it's a very moving event. If you're able to attend, it's important. Moving on to several items that I was able to attend recently that were just very impressive, and the Rotary Service Above Self event talking to the students was just really great. It's great to have so much participation from people in the community, those that are members of Rotary, and very much appreciate their doing this every year. The Lifetown Luncheon, where I got to hear from quite a few people about their impressions of Columbus City Schools, and more get to hear very positive things. And finally, I guess Ms. Santos has already gone out, but I was over at Hiltonia Middle School for the dedication of their mural. I know that you were there, Dr. Good, and John Rush, who was the spark plug behind that project, he's with Clean Turn. He did a great job. The staff there did a great job. I was very impressed with the principal, and especially with the art teacher that really helped create the mural and the tiles. And what was really inspiring was to see the whole community come together, local businesses and others that participated in that and created something that is lasting. So thank you to everybody that was involved with that.
Board Member Reyes?
Thank you, President Baker. Let me start first to just talk a little bit about, we had another taping of the Columbus City Schools, Kicking It with Columbus City Schools student-run program. This morning we had Centennial. Their program will air on June 24th. We featured a saxophone player, poetry slam winner, vocalist, and other scholar and athletes. We plan on airing all summer. So again, for those of you who are listening to our students, third Saturday of the month on 90.5 WCBE. Also, just wanted to, some of you saw this on Facebook, and we did this last year. We have the senior walkthrough, so giving our middle school and elementary school kids an opportunity to see our seniors walk through their schools. So we've got a couple coming up and a couple still to be scheduled. Independence walking through Liberty Elementary on 5/19, 10:30 a.m. We've got Briggs walking through Lindbergh Elementary at 5:25, May 25th, 9:45 a.m. Beechcroft walking through Alpine on June 1st at 11 a.m. We're still looking at planning on Northland, East, and Eastmore. Those schools that are not mentioned, it's only because they don't have a walking school nearby. So they're really just walking from their high school over to the neighboring school. So it's a good opportunity for our youngsters to see what they would look like when they're going to be seniors. So those of you who have time, our communications department will be advertising. So if you forget, just look at our website. In addition, I had the honor of speaking at the Seniors to Sophomore celebration at Columbus North International, where we had more than 18 students. Seniors to Sophomores is a program where our seniors can actually get credited for their first year of school, freshman year. So we had a lot of scholars that are going to be at Ohio State, Pittsburgh, Wittenberg, just all over, and just very, very proud of multiple scholarships and monies, and they're going to have the opportunity to, oftentimes we say, yay, our children have been accepted, but a lot of times our children don't get to go through the challenges. These children have gone through their first year, they've had a mentor, they've been able to kind of look at a more successful opportunity as they go on through their scholarship. So very, very proud of those seniors. Also was able to attend the PTA dinner where they honored many of our teachers for Teachers of the Year, but most importantly, an opportunity of them giving back to our kids. We had 6 of our students who received a $1,000 scholarship, and they will become teachers. So that was very exciting. Just hearing their testaments on why they decided to take that career, a student just going down the wrong path, being turned to the right direction by a teacher at Centennial. The student said it was far from their mind ever wanting to be a teacher, but because of that impact, they decided to make that change. A student in South High School who talked about being homeless and parents not in the best situations, and how his teachers helped him get through school, and that's why he wants to become a teacher, so that he can help others who have struggled in the same way that he struggled. So very, very, very wonderful organization, an opportunity for, again, having those teachers, and hopefully they'll come back and teach in our district. And lastly, I also attended the Columbus chapter of 100 Black Women, where I heard Ms. Gillison, our wonderful performing arts organization from Eastmore, who had just returned back with their trophy, and they performed once on this island, and they just, they had a third grader with them, and it was just an opportunity for people in the community to see the talent that we have in our schools. So very, very proud and exhaustive week for me. But
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Yes, just briefly, I had the opportunity this past week to attend the Boys Won't Be Boys annual event that was hosted at Our Boys Academy, Our Boys Prep Academy. Outstanding program, a wonderful cadre of speakers who came and really tried to inspire our young people. We also have one of the honorees, who just outside there, Mr. Ricardo Felix. Wave your hand. All right. He was one of our students that was actually acknowledged at that program and sat on the stage. So thank you again for being an outstanding young man. I had the opportunity to big him up in front of everybody at that event as well for the work he does on our behalf here on the board. So just another grand opportunity to highlight our students.
Thank you. Ms. Gibbs?
Yes, thank you so much. So I've done a lot, but what I want to say before we see you again, between now and our next school meeting, we'll have another couple thousand graduates at Columbus City Schools. And so if you could, Dr. Good, just congratulations to the class of 2017. I definitely want to tell you that. But if you have a student that still needs to enroll in summer school, whether they're in, middle school or high school, who should they call and how can they get enrolled in summer school?
You know, our best commercial is always
Yes.
Dr. Klein, so
Yes.
I'll ask her to come forward and talk about summer school and the appropriate number to call.
This is our favorite part of the, it's our show. It's our show, Dr. Klein.
Actually, it's not mine, with all due respect, this year. Actually, it's not, but I can tell you how to do it. So our central enrollment people are enrolling. However, Marcy Drafts and Danny Graves have a new process and a new procedure where they're using online registration, and it's really pretty cool. We take the information off of online and then put it into Infinite Campus, but I will let them tell you. Hopefully one of them are here. No, they're not. Okay. I can tell you it is online on our website, but I cannot tell you the website because it's not mine, but I can tell you that information. There you go. Look at this man. Step up to the plate.
So, President Baker, Ms. Gibbs, information about summer school is available online and on our website at ccsoh.us. As soon as you log on, you will see a big button that says Summer School Information. And the number to call is 614-365-5010. 5010 is the number for our summer school office.
Okay, so for our families who do not have access to technology, how do they enroll in summer school?
They come to 430 Cleveland Avenue, and we help them because we have not only computers there, but we have translators and we have wonderful people to help them. One plug I would like to say, and that is any student in the third grade that is in jeopardy of not being promoted to the fourth grade, please, 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 with a cherry on top, make sure those children get enrolled in summer school because they will have 2 extra opportunities, one to take their ELA air test, and also a second opportunity to take the NWEA MAP test, which will allow them an opportunity to score in a promotable range and be promoted to 4th grade.
Okay, did you say NWA?
Yes, ma'am. NWEA, Northwest Evaluation Association.
Thank you.
Thank you kindly.
I thought that was something.
The MAP test, Measures of Academic Progress.
Yeah, that's straight out of school. Okay, but Excellent. Now, for our students who may still need tutoring to pass what they need to do to graduate, who do they call? How can they access resources? It did sound like NWA now. You know?
President Baker, to Board Member Gibbs, those young people who have spent 13 years in high school and still need something a little extra because they won't be ready to graduate in June, we have the OGT boot camp where our young people have been signed up because those scores are out, and parents have been contacted, our young people have been contacted, and they have been signed up for the OGT boot camp. If they are credit deficient, they have been signed up for summer school as well.
Okay. And if not, if a parent is just finding this in the bottom of the book bag, who
If
do
a
they
parent
call?
is just finding this in the bottom of the book bag, you can go to our website and look under, we have that information on the website, Scott? That information is on the website, so you look at graduation information, but also if that parent has not purchased a cap and gown and is wondering what is going on because they feel like maybe they've missed a phone call or don't have the information they should, they need to call their school and speak with their counselor at the school and the administrator.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could just add one thing, please. Any senior that is still not able to reach the proficient score of 400 on the Ohio graduation test, the OGT, can also have an additional opportunity to take their examination through the AIR examinations, and those are retakes. They are free for our seniors. They are free, F-R-E-E. And we have Sign Up Genius on our website. All of our counselors have that information so that they'll be given some intervention, which is not required by state law, but we know in Columbus City Schools that it's a best practice. So we are providing that intervention for them, and we do have that online through Sign Up Genius.
Okay. So they should go online, go to their counselor, or go to their principal, and they can get access to the resources that they need to complete their credits or their programs. And here come Peggy to tell us what else they need to do.
I'm remiss if I don't come up and say this. There's actually another opportunity as well. If a student has all of the graduation requirements done, with the exception of an OGT, there's another opportunity where a student in summer school for free, if that's all they're missing, can earn an industry credential in either the state tested nursing assistant or the construction field model. There you go. How did I forget that? And also, they will be given a chance to take the WorkKeys assessment. So they have to receive a score of a 13. WorkKeys is a test that is written by the ACT. It's 3 tests: locating information, reading for information, and mathematics. They have to receive a bare minimum of a 3, but the combined score has to be a 13, and then they have to earn a 12-point industry credential. The 2 that we are doing in summer school that will be offered are the construction pathway and the nursing assistant pathway. There's 40 seats for the nursing and as many as up to 150 seats in the construction module. If they would like information on those 2 strands, we are putting it up on the website tomorrow, but it's something that we were able to secure, and you can call our office at 614-365-6681, extension 3070.
Say it one more time.
614-365-6681, extension 3070. And that's our office, and we are working with counselors and principals at each school to identify the students in need. If parents have a question, feel free to call that number.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, just amazing resource. That is always some of the top questions that parents and families want to ask. And to that point, we have an Innovation and Reform meeting on May 24th, where we're going to hold a focus group to talk about graduation requirements and what the future of our programs look like in the district. It will be held at Champion Middle School from 5:30 to 7:30. And if you're interested in coming, please email us, Dr. Stanford's office, or send an email to myself, and we'll make sure we get you connected to that focus group. Thank you, President Baker. That is all.
Thank you, Board Member Gibbs. Anything else? Mr. Peretti?
Actually, Finance Committee will be meeting again June 15th. We'll be going over our appropriations resolution and our monthly financial forecast. Depending on where it is, we're also preparing a facilities operating budget, and that's basically a look of all of our buildings, what it costs to run them, what sort of capacity issues, other deltas that we may need to look at, because it's not building for building. You have to be very careful with this, but this is just another piece of what we need to do as we look forward to our buildings. I say it all the time. We talked about deferred maintenance tonight. We have around $125 million that'll be going to deferred maintenance out of $400 million total in the district. And there's a lot of things that we have to do to our buildings to renovate and work on. So I just want to be clear, we really need to start moving on the facilities process once again, using these tools that we're putting together in our various committees. And I just look forward to seeing that happen.
Board Member Gibbs, one last item.
I'm sorry, I would be remiss if I did not say how amazing College Signing Day was. We were with all of our seniors who are attending college and or going to the military, over 1,000 students at Mershon Auditorium, all of our partners, Columbus City. I don't know if you want to speak to this, Dr. Good or Ms. Gillison, but it was absolutely incredible to hear how many places our seniors will be all across the country and across the world. I Know I Can, which is our amazing partner in education, is one of our partners, as well as the City of Columbus, a lot of private factors. And then our keynote speaker was Dr. Quinn Capers, related to some cool person over here who obviously lived in this housing complex where they showed your bedroom window, but just up from no hope to becoming an amazing doctor and a cardiologist at Ohio State, and he's incredible. So thank you, Dr. Good and Ms. Gillison, everybody that worked to help to put it together. All of our high schools were represented, and from both I Know I Can and Columbus City Schools, I mean, you can stand proud on where our students are going, how prepared they are, and what they are going to be once they graduate. So thank you to everyone for that incredible program.
Absolutely. All right, seeing and hearing nothing else, for the good of the cause, I'll ask the Vice President to offer a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is recommended that the Board of Education recess into executive session per section 121.22 G1 Ohio Revised Code to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, and section 121.22 G4 Ohio Revised Code to prepare for, conduct, or review negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms or condition of their employment.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Treasurer, please.
Vice President Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Peretti? Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
That motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. The board will now recess into executive session. We will adjourn from that meeting without returning to these chambers. Have a good evening.
Good evening.